Southern Miss's Mo Arnold busted in the federal point shaving scandal. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The college football playoff is here, and FanDuel is the best place to get in on all the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day. Okay, plenty of great basketball to talk about. Georgia Southern, a come-from-ahead victory over ODU, and South Alabama outlasts Arkansas State in just what was a classic back-and-forth basketball game. But the big news on Thursday was the story that dropped pretty much early morning, 8:39-ish or so. I guess 10 a.m. Eastern time. David Purdom reported it on ESPN. A college basketball point shaving scheme involving more than 39 players on 17 NCAA Division I teams resulted in dozens of games in previous two seasons. In the previous 2 seasons, this just happened. Being fixed by a gambling ring that included a former NBA player, according to a federal indictment unsealed on Thursday in Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Among those was Mo Arnold from Southern Miss. Mo played 3 seasons for Southern Miss, 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I look at his stats, and I'm like, how does he affect the ballgame? How can he fix it? 6.2 points a game, 2.5 assists a game, 1 steal a game, and he turns the ball over once. So how can he fix it? Good question. So this is what I saw Zach Caps on Sports. He got the information on just Arnold, okay? In or about late February 2024, the fixers, including defendant Jalen Smith, I think he's at Marv's Fairley, and Antonio Blankney, formerly of LSU, by the way, recruited for their point shaving scheme defendant Orlando. It's not even Orlando, but Orlando, that's Mo. Orlando Arnold, a guard, as well as other players, including person 9, all right, and person 10. Both known to the grand jury on the University of Southern Miss Golden Eagles men's basketball team. In FaceTime calls, defendant Arnold, person 9 and person 10, agreed to underperform in and influence an upcoming game against University of South Alabama Jaguars men's basketball team. On or about February 28th, 2024, Southern Mississippi played against South Alabama in an NCAA basketball game at the Mitchell Center in Mobile. South Alabama was favored by approximately 1.5 points in the first half at sportsbooks throughout the United States. Before the game, the fixers, including Fairley and Shane Hennon and others acting at their direction, placed wagers of at least approximately $275,000 on South Alabama to cover the first half spread of approximately 1.5 points. To increase the profitability of their scheme, these wagers included parlays on this game, along with other games that the schemers had fixed by bribing players in text message communications with a straw bettor. Defendant Fairley communicated that defendant Mo Arnold had agreed to fix the game and that the straw bettor could place bets on the game, telling him, "We locked in defendant Arnold. Gonna call after practice, though." Okay. First of all, here is the problem with the whole thing. Do these guys not understand that when you bet $275,000 on the first half of South Alabama, Southern Miss, the lights go flashing, all right? Remember a few years ago, it probably would have been during this time. It would have been, I guess it would have been 2024. I guess it could have been, I guess I have to go look. Alabama's head coach, baseball, called a buddy of his to tell him that their ace was not pitching on Friday night against Paul Skeens at LSU. Guess what the buddy did? The buddy placed a $100,000 bet on Alabama, or on the Alabama LSU game, on LSU to win. How much money do you think is regularly bet on Alabama LSU baseball game? And so those things get caught. They get flagged. That is the benefit of having it legal. Now we see the benefits of not the benefits, but the repercussions of having it legal as well. But these things get flagged. Why it took so long and how they could set that bet like $3.5 million is throughout the whole scheme. Jeez. Mo Arnold also did it against, let's see here. Let's move on to the Cajuns ball game. On or about March 1st, 2024, Southern Miss played against Louisiana Lafayette at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana. Louisiana was favored by approximately 5 points in the first half at sportsbooks throughout the United States. Shane Hennon, Antonio Blakeney, and others acting at their direction placed wagers with various sportsbooks totaling at least approximately $161,000 on Louisiana to cover the first half spread. So these guys are in big trouble legally. What's going to happen with the schools? Who knows? It's a big mess. Now, remember, we're looking at a decade ago now. Maybe not quite a decade ago. Half a decade? The one that Will Wade was involved in, the feds basically found nothing. At least on the coaches, they found nothing. Very little. A couple assistant coaches took the brunt of it. But the big-time coaches didn't, and there was just nothing to do. Now, we'll find out. I mean, are we going to, punish Southern Miss for what this one kid did, or among others? It's going to be interesting to see, because I can tell you, I spoke to a coach, and he thinks it's the tip of the iceberg. All right. Nothing, not having, as far as I know, nothing to do with any of this, but just a coach involved in college sports. And I agree with him. He thinks it may be the tip of the iceberg. But Southern Miss fans are on Twitter visibly upset, ashamed, stunned, shocked, all of that. Little mocking going on, but it's not really funny, because a lot of schools got busted in it, right? I saw somebody said Tulane again. Really? Wasn't that Hot Rod Williams? Back in my day. So it's not a good sign. We'll see what happens to these schools. There was a kid from Kennesaw State who was busted in this. He was playing for Kennesaw State Wednesday night. Obviously, he's been suspended pending further investigation. And I'm also told at this point in time, Jay Ladner was in the hospital. These kids are fixing games when their coach is in the hospital. Come on. What are we doing? Right? What are we doing? But this is where people get caught up in the money, right? Probably at this point in time, there wasn't a whole lot of NIL money at Southern Miss basketball. People are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, and these kids are getting nothing. And then all of a sudden they're paid, $20 or $30 or $40 or $50,000, whatever it may be. It said in some of the indictments, tens of thousands of dollars. That's a lot of money. All right. That's a lot of money. All right. I mean, I think that's a lot of money. On a side note, Dante Moore signing for $7.5 million with Oregon. Can you imagine being a college kid? $7.5 million. Anyways, it is a shame. I'd be shocked if the NCAA does widespread banning of postseason. All right. This is already a couple years ago. They'll probably just take one fellow swoop and move on. They're just going to come out with a statement. And, one of those, it is what it is. We've rooted out the evildoers and we're moving on. I don't think we're going to get a lot of suspensions and postseason bans. I just don't. It hasn't been too many major programs. Tulane may be the majorest of the programs. Is that a thing? I mean, listen to these teams, right? Abilene Christian, Alabama State, Buffalo, Coppin State, DePaul, Eastern Michigan, Fordham, Kennesaw State, LaSalle, New Orleans, Nicholls State, North Carolina A&T, Northwestern State, Robert Morris, St. Louis, Southern Miss, Tulane. Now, the reason Antonio Blakeney's got to be the key why there was 4 Louisiana schools, right? New Orleans, Nicholls, Tulane, and Northwestern State, right? And there are tentacles everywhere. So we'll see how it all turns out. But these guys are not. It's amazing it took them so long to get busted. We'll have to find out more about that. These guys are not all that bright. All right, they're not all that bright. They were going to get busted from the second they placed the first bet. Then they keep on doing it. All right. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. South Alabama outlasting Arkansas State in overtime. A fantastic college basketball game. We'll talk about that next after I tell you about FanDuel. College football playoff is here, and of course, it is almost done. FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action every single game of the playoffs. Because right now, every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you already feel good about. If you want to ride with the favorite, Indiana in the college football championship is now 8.5-point favorites when you think they control the matchup. Take a shot on the hometown Miami underdog, getting 8.5 points if you feel the upset is coming, or build a parlay around the players and moments you think decide the game. Then you apply the profit boost and go after even bigger winnings. And when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. Tremendous ball game, South Alabama and Arkansas State. Probably not the way I thought it was going to go in terms of South Alabama scoring 91 points or even getting into the 80s in regulation to win the ball game. I thought if South Alabama was going to win, it would be like 70-60 type of deal. That's not how it went, not at all. Final score was a 91-87, South Alabama. And it was a great basketball game. All right. Chase Harris, 38 points on 14 out of 25 from the floor. He did take 4 3-pointers, did make a 1, 10 out of 15 free throws. So they're 10 out of 15. Chaz Harris is 10 out of 15 free throws. Arkansas State, 12 out of 15 as a team. South Alabama, 21 out of 30 overall. 3-pointers, South Alabama only 6 out of 27, but Arkansas State was 13 out of 44. All right, like we mentioned, South Alabama invites that, and hopefully, as far as South Alabama is concerned, you go cold. All right, so this was a 4-point game at half. Arkansas State was up by 4, 36-32, and kind of went back and forth for a little bit before South Alabama took one of their 9-point leads in the second half. It got out to Arkansas State was leading 45-40. All right, but South Alabama went on a little run and made it 55-46, just under 13 minutes left to go. But Arkansas State would not go away, and they keep on shooting threes. You know, you miss these threes and you give up a fast break bucket, and all of a sudden, you know, you're down double digits. And I don't think South Alabama ever led by double digits. But TJ Caldwell makes a 3-pointer, makes it 55-49. All right. They got it to 58-54, and South Alabama made another run to get it to another 9-point lead, 63-54. But then Jackson Ellingsworth, who had a major size advantage on the inside, he got a layup. and then and one, as it turns out. So it's down to 6. Then TJ Caldwell makes another 3. It's down to 3. Goes back to 5. Goes back to 3. And then Royal Blue Smith was outstanding. He ties it up at 65. So 2 9-point leads, one with just under 13 minutes to go and one with 9.5 minutes to go. And we're all tied up at 65 with 6 minutes left to go. Royal Blue was fantastic. Let's see what he finished up with. He had 18 points, 6 out of 13 3-pointers, and he's not shooting no 22-footers. He is way out there beyond 25 feet. You know, he keeps on making them, so you have to defend him, but how many can you make? Well, he made about 6. He made 6. And so South Alabama looked like they had control of this ball game until the end of the game. And they actually had a chance to take the lead. I believe it was, 74 all, and South Alabama hits a 3. Louis June hits a 3 in the corner to tie things up. Arkansas State misses, but I should say, Arkansas State misses. South Alabama misses. But then Royal Blue Smith hits a 3 to make it 77-74. Bad turnover. Lazy turnover by Chaz Harris. And all of a sudden, it's a 5-point lead, 79-74, with 57 seconds left to go. You got to be kidding me. Chaz Harris makes only 1 of 2 free throws. And then something I just didn't think you'd see, Randy Brady makes a 3. Not only did he take it, he took it confidently with 17 seconds left to go. You got it. You're down 4. You need to make a bucket. And he took it, and he made it. Again, this guy doesn't shoot, and he certainly doesn't shoot threes. He can shoot. You watch him at the free throw line, and he could step out and hit a 10, 12-footer, 15-footer, but he doesn't shoot at all. He shot twice in this ballgame. All right. He had a crazy line, 5 points, 9 rebounds, and I believe 3 assists. We'll get to the assists here in a second. So he makes a 3. They immediately foul Arkansas State, who makes both free throws. They're up by 3, and South Alabama misses. Brady gets the rebound, underhand toss to Adam Olson. He hits the 3, ties it up. They go into overtime. It was 81 all. And in overtime, it kind of looked like Arkansas State ran out of gas. Let me see if we can find it here. Harris made a layup. Ellingsworth tied it up with a jumper. Harris was 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Ellingsworth with another offensive rebound. And then they kept on missing free throws. Jaden Cooper kept on being 1 of 2. And I guess Arkansas State actually led it 87-85. But then Harris made another layup and making free throws. And they finally fouled Adam Olson. And Olson hit his 2, although he missed 2 earlier in the game. 90% free throw shooter makes 3 of 5 on the day. It was just a great college basketball game, one that, midway through the second half, South Alabama looks like they're going to cruise to victory. And then with a minute left to go, you're up 4. No, I'm sorry, you're up 5 with a minute left to go. And Arkansas State thinks they're going to escape Mobile with a victory. And South Alabama comes back to win the ballgame, 91-87. I want to see some more of these stats. It was just a good basketball game. Each team, South Alabama shot 46%, Arkansas State 43%. Again, South Alabama did not make many three-pointers. They made a couple of big ones at the end, 6 out of 27. Arkansas State dominated on the glass, 51-33. Don't usually see that too often. And you lose a ball game. But they turned the ball over a lot. Where's it? Turnovers was 19-5. South Alabama not turning the ball over. Arkansas State did. And the announcers, of course, jinxed it. We had a grand total of 6 fouls in the first half, and we had over 20 in the second half. So that slowed the game down a little bit. It was just a great basketball game. Bench points. This is going to be a big thing. Watch this in the Sun Belt Conference tournament where you are playing multiple games in multiple days. Arkansas State's got a bench. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. South Alabama played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And on the bench points, Arkansas State scored 50-13. So that's a thing. All right. It's a tough loss for Arkansas State. They'll probably learn a bunch from it, though. It's a bigger win for South Alabama because they were at home. All right. And I'm sure these two will play one more time in Jonesboro. Checking out the standings, though, really quickly. And we'll get to it. Georgia Southern now atop the standings along with Troy, both 5-1. Southern Miss, they fell to Troy, so they're 5-2. South Alabama and Arkansas State are 4-2. App State won tonight. We'll get to that as well. They are 4-3. All right. We'll try to finish off the Georgia Southern ball game. App State with a win, and we'll look to preview Saturday's ball games just very quickly. So hang tight. We'll do that after I tell you about the Everydayer Club. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live Sunbelt sports every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more for all just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to Locked On Sunbelt Supercast. Go to lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right. Also, continued thanks on everyone who is supporting us and continuing to get this channel growing. We're still hoping for 3,000 which would be a week from today. So we need a little bit of help. Spread the word. We'll be doing a lot of baseball as practice got underway this week, and we've already got one coach locked in. We'll try to lock in, pun intended, I guess, lock in more today, as I will follow up with my email because after next week, we only got 3 weeks left to go. All right. So thank you so much. All right. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Am I a little bit high there? Let's see. I'm not sitting any lower. No. All right. Anyway, Georgia Southern with a nice win at home. One of those come from ahead victories, 87-84. This was kind of back and forth in the second half. Old Dominion actually had they had a pretty big first half. They led it 48-39, and Georgia Southern seemed to take control in the second half. Although I guess if you look at lead time, because it was tied plenty, Old Dominion led for almost 23 minutes. And Georgia Southern led for only 13 and a half minutes. It was tied 3.5 minutes. Lead changes 10. It's a good college basketball game. All right. Georgia Southern coming off that little bit of an embarrassing loss to South Alabama, having their winning streak snapped. Did not play very well. And it felt like they kind of came out that way. ODU does not score that many points, and they put up almost 50 in the first half. Well, Georgia Southern woke up, took control somewhere around let's see, again, ODU comes out and makes a bucket. Well, actually, Georgia Southern made a bucket to make it a 7-point ball game. They only took 3.5 minutes to tie it up at 53 all. So that's not bad. 16-28, it is tied at 53. And from there, it's kind of tied, and Georgia Southern mostly having the lead. They got it up to a 6-point lead. They led 74-68. They led 80-74 with 3:32 to go. And ODU makes back-to-back 3-pointers to tie it at 80. Georgia Southern leads 82-80. ODU makes it 82-82. And ODU on a layup by LJ Thomas leads it 84-82. With 17 seconds left, Jefferson Koulibaly hits a three-pointer. I mean, there is, this is at home. There is a difference between gutsy and ballsy, and that's ballsy, all right? Because if you go to the hoop, you can get fouled. So they didn't need a three-pointer. They went for the win, which I appreciate, and they made it. Then Robert Davis Jr. did miss a three-point jumper with 4 seconds left to try and to tie the game up or to take the lead, I guess. And Tyron Moore hits a pair of free throws to make it a 3-point game, 87-84. Let's see. Georgia Southern shot 50% from the floor. ODU shot 48%. Georgia Southern 10 out of 23 from 3. ODU 12 out of 28. Free throws, Georgia Southern 19 out of 28. That's a lot of free throws, but they missed a bunch. ODU was 10 out of 15. Reboundings was even, 35 apiece. Offensive rebounds, 12-11 in favor of ODU. That was close. Bench points, Georgia Southern a little bit better. Points in the paint, Georgia Southern 38-30. So good college basketball game and a nice rebounding effort there by Georgia Southern to pull out that one. Would have kind of felt if they had lost that ball game, that they, as they say, don't lose the same game twice. Try to get over it as quickly as you can. It would have seemed like they would have lost that South Alabama game twice. They almost did. All right. When you lose to ODU at home, but they didn't. So they won. So they can get that out of their system. Also on Thursday, you did have App State with a rather resounding victory over JMU, 80-65. This game was not particularly close. It was 38-27 and a half, and they extended it by a little bit, the Mountaineers finishing the game off, winning by 15. Again, App State plays some pretty good defense. They're not the most explosive offensive team going, but they did shoot 53% from the floor tonight. They made 13 threes, shooting 42%. That's outstanding. They held JMU to 21 out of 60 shots. And if you want to go deeper into that, JMU made 12 out of 33 pointers. That means my quick math is they made 9 out of 30 2-pointers. That ain't going to get it done. That's not great. App State doesn't go to the free throw line very much, only 5 out of 8. JMU was 11 out of 16. Rebounding, App State had a slight edge, and points in the paint was a big difference, 36-18. App State fouls were relatively close, 13-11. App State actually had more called fouls on them at home. So again, checking out the standings quickly, now that we know all those scores. Georgia Southern and Troy, again, 5-1 atop. Southern Miss is 5-2, so they are third by themselves. South Alabama and Arkansas State are right behind them, with App State 4-3. Then you have Marshall and Georgia State 3-3. Coastal Carolina and Texas State 3-4. JMU is 2-4. Old Dominion and the Cajuns are 2-5. Monroe is 0-6. All right, we've gone long already, but since that's the case, why don't we find out the Saturday matchups before we shut this one down? All right. And should be a full slate. South Alabama gets the Cajuns. Should be a win. Probably should be a double-digit victory. App State gets Old Dominion. Old Dominion is tougher than they would appear. We'll see if App State can make it 2 wins in a row. Coastal Carolina, we find out, is tougher than we thought. We'll see how Georgia Southern does. Georgia Southern hosting Coastal Carolina. Monroe and Georgia State. Interesting. Georgia State has been playing much better. Can Monroe get their first conference victory of the year? Marshall taking on JMU. We're not so sure about JMU. They should be good. They're not. Again, they did beat Arkansas State a couple outings ago, and we think Marshall is better. They just lost a couple of tough ball games that they probably should have won. Arkansas State and Troy is your highlight of the day. That's a huge ball game. Arkansas State looking to get back in the winner's circle. They're going to Troy. This is a problem when you go from Arkansas State to try and take on South Alabama and Troy. That is not an easy deal, and Arkansas State needs a win here just to split those two ball games. Southern Miss looks to bounce back, and they get Texas State. Southern Miss lost to Troy, all right, over last time out. They will try to bounce back against the Bobcats. All right, we'll see what the ramifications are. I don't even know if I saw NCAA college guys comment on it, other than everyone went through all the indictments, and everyone found videos of the ball games where the players were throwing it. So we'll see if we can go back and find some and look at it. But let me know what you guys think. These games, again, games involving, admittedly, games involving the Cajuns in South Alabama and Southern Miss. Good chance I was watching those. So I'll have to go back and see if I remember those ball games or those the videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget about signing up for that Everydayer Club. Really do appreciate all your support. We will enjoy the weekend. All right. Go Pats. All right. Big ball game on Sunday against the who do they take on? The Texans. And if you are getting snow this week, there is a huge snow ban coming up. Please be safe. All right. Don't be a hero. But if you get the chance, go take the kids sledding, because a lot of people down in that Sun Belt don't get that opportunity on a regular basis. So that can be a lot of fun once the roads are cleared to go do so. All right. So please take advantage of that, but please be safe while doing it. Appreciate all the support. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day